Hey everyone, Linus here, and welcome to a topic that's more relevant than ever: cybersecurity. We live in a digital world, and that means hackers are constantly trying to find ways to exploit vulnerabilities. It's like a digital arms race, with both sides constantly upping their game. Think about it, every time you log in, make a purchase, or even just browse online, you're leaving a digital footprint. And you know what? Hackers are experts at following those footprints. They're looking for any little crack in your defenses, any way to slip in and grab your data. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, but it's important to be aware of the risks. The good news is, there are tons of things you can do to protect yourself. Over the course of this video, we're going to break down the most common hacking tactics, show you how they work, and give you the tools you need to stay safe online. So, buckle up, because things are about to get interesting. You know, when most people think of hacking, they picture some genius in a hoodie, surrounded by screens, furiously typing code. And while that can be true, a lot of hacking is actually about exploiting the weakest link in the chain human psychology. See, it's much easier to trick someone into giving up their password than it is to crack it through brute force. Hackers know this, and they've gotten really good at using social engineering tactics to manipulate people. It's all about deception, persuasion, and taking advantage of our natural tendencies. One of the most common tactics is phishing. You've probably seen these emails that look like they're from a legitimate source, like your bank or a social media platform. They'll often create a sense of urgency, maybe saying your account has been compromised or you need to update your payment info. The goal is to get you to click on a malicious link or download an infected attachment. Once you do that, boom, you've potentially given them access to your device and all your precious data. And it's not just emails either. Hackers are getting creative with their social engineering attacks. There's spear phishing, which is like phishing but more targeted. They might do some research on you, find out what companies you use, and craft a very convincing email just for you. Then there's pretexting, where the hacker pretends to be someone they're not to gain your trust. Like, they might call you pretending to be from IT support, asking for your password to fix a problem. And if you think you're safe just because you don't answer calls from unknown numbers, think again. There's vishing, which is basically phishing but over the phone. They might even use voice-altering software to sound more convincing. The point is, these social engineering attacks can be incredibly effective because they prey on our trust and our desire to help. Remember that massive Twitter hack back in 2020? You know, the one where a bunch of high-profile accounts like Elon Musk and Bill Gates started tweeting about a Bitcoin scam? That was a prime example of how hackers can use social engineering to pull off a huge heist. Basically, they gained access to Twitter's internal systems and then used that access to hijack those accounts. They then sent out tweets promising to double any Bitcoin sent to a specific address. Now you might think, who would fall for something so obvious? But here's the thing, they used the credibility of those accounts to trick people. And because it was happening so fast and on such a large scale, a lot of people didn't have time to think critically about what was going on. The result? They made off with millions of dollars in Bitcoin. It was a stark reminder that even the most tech-savvy among us can fall victim to these attacks if we're not careful. Alright, so we've talked about how hackers can manipulate you into giving up your passwords, but what about when they try to crack them the old-fashioned way? Well, it's not as glamorous as Hollywood makes it seem, but it can be surprisingly effective, especially if you're not careful about your password hygiene. Think of your passwords as the keys to your digital kingdom. You've got everything from your social media accounts to your online banking logins protected by these little strings of characters. And just like you wouldn't want someone to have a copy of your house key, you don't want hackers getting their hands on your passwords. Now, there are a few different methods hackers use to crack passwords. One of the most common is a brute force attack. This is essentially a digital battering ram, where they use software to try every possible combination of characters until they find the right one. It might sound tedious, but with enough computing power, they can eventually crack even relatively complex passwords. That's why it's so important to use long, unique passwords for each of your accounts. Now, brute force attacks might be the most straightforward, but hackers also have some more sophisticated tricks up their sleeves. One of these is called a dictionary attack. Instead of randomly trying every combination, they use a list of common words and phrases, along with variations like adding numbers or special characters. It's surprisingly effective because a lot of people still use easily guessable passwords, like password 123 or their pet's name, and then there's credential stuffing. This is where hackers take advantage of the fact that many people reuse the same password across multiple accounts. They'll take leaked password databases from other websites and try those credentials on different platforms. If you've ever gotten one of those "we detected suspicious activity on your account" emails, it might be because your credentials were part of a data breach and someone tried to use them elsewhere. So, how do you protect yourself from these password cracking attacks? Well, the first and most important step is to use strong, unique passwords for every single account. I know it's a pain to remember a million different passwords, but that's where password managers come in. These handy tools generate and store all your passwords securely, so you only need to remember one master password. It's like having a digital vault for your keys. Another crucial layer of protection is multi-factor authentication, or MFA. This adds an extra step to the login process, usually by requiring you to enter a code sent to your phone or email. Even if a hacker gets their hands on your password, they still can't access your account without that second factor. Trust me, enabling MFA on all your important accounts is one of the best things you can do to boost your security. It might seem like a hassle, but it's a small price to pay for peace of mind. Let's talk about phishing scams, those emails that trick you into clicking links or downloading attachments. They're like a dodgy dude selling a fake Rolex, surprisingly convincing. Phishing exploits our trust, curiosity, and urgency. They create fear to make you act without thinking. They impersonate trusted brands or people. Phishing emails can be sneaky. Look for misspellings, errors, or suspicious addresses. If something feels off, it probably is. Think before you click. Now, let's talk about spear phishing. It's like phishing, but way more targeted. Imagine a sniper instead of someone just spraying bullets in a general direction. These attackers do their homework, gathering information about you from social media, company websites, or even previous data breaches. They use this information to craft personalized emails that seem incredibly convincing. For example, they might mention a recent purchase you made, a conference you attended, or even a colleague's name to trick you into thinking the email is legitimate. Spear phishing attacks are particularly dangerous because they prey on the trust we have in people we know, or organizations we interact with regularly. And because they're so targeted, they often have a much higher success rate than generic phishing emails. So, how do you protect yourself from spear phishing? Well, be extra cautious with emails that seem too good to be true or contain urgent requests, especially if they ask for sensitive information. Double-check the sender's email address, even if the name looks familiar. And if you're unsure about an email, don't hesitate to reach out to the supposed sender directly to verify its legitimacy. Now, phishing isn't just limited to email. Oh no, my friends, scammers are getting creative. They've gone mobile with smishing. That's SMS phishing, for those who haven't heard the term. It's the same idea as email phishing, but using text messages instead. You might receive a text message claiming to be from your bank, a delivery company, or even a government agency, urging you to click on a link or provide personal information. They might even use scare tactics, like claiming your account has been compromised or that you owe money. And then there's vishing, which stands for voice phishing. This involves scammers using phone calls to trick you into revealing personal information. They might impersonate a tech support agent, a bank representative, or even a government official. Remember, legitimate organizations will never ask for your personal information via text message or unsolicited phone calls. If you receive a suspicious text or call, don't engage. Hang up and contact the organization directly using their official contact information. Let's talk about malware, the nasty software that hackers use to wreak havoc on your devices. It's like finding out you have termites in your house. You know it's bad news. There are tons of different types of malware out there. Viruses are like the common cold of the malware world. Worms can replicate and spread without human interaction. Trojans disguise themselves as legitimate software. They unleash their malicious payload once installed. Think of them as a Trojan horse. Ransomware is the big bad wolf of the malware world. It encrypts your files, locking you out. Attackers demand a ransom for the decryption key. Ransomware has become a massive problem in recent years, with cybercriminals raking in millions of dollars from victims. Why? Because it's incredibly effective. Imagine losing access to all your important files, photos, documents, financial records. It's enough to make anyone panic. Companies and organizations are particularly vulnerable to ransomware attacks because they often have valuable data and are more likely to pay the ransom to avoid disrupting their operations. We're talking millions of dollars in some cases, which is why cybercriminals are so drawn to this type of attack. Now, paying the ransom might seem like the easiest solution, but there's no guarantee that the attackers will actually give you the decryption key. They might just take your money and run, leaving you high and dry. Plus, paying the ransom just encourages these criminals to continue their attacks. So, how do you protect yourself from ransomware? Well, prevention is key. Always keep your operating system, software, and antivirus programs up to date. Be cautious about opening email attachments or clicking on links from unknown senders. And back up your important data regularly. That way, even if you do get hit with ransomware, you won't lose everything. Alright, so we've talked about the bad guys, the different types of malware, and how they can wreak havoc. Now let's talk about how to fight back. First and foremost, you need good antivirus software. Think of it like your digital immune system. It scans your computer for known threats and blocks them before they can do any damage. But antivirus software isn't foolproof. New malware is being created all the time, so it's important to practice safe browsing habits. Avoid suspicious websites, be wary of clicking on links or downloading attachments from unknown sources, and be careful what you download from the internet in general. Another essential tool in your arsenal is a firewall. This acts like a barrier between your computer and the outside world, blocking unauthorized access to your system. Most operating systems come with built-in firewalls, so make sure yours is turned on. And finally, if you're ever unsure about a file or website, use a sandbox. This is like a virtual environment where you can run potentially dangerous programs without risking your actual system. It's a great way to test out suspicious downloads or visit websites that you think might be malicious. Alright folks, buckle up because we're about to dive into the dark web, the hidden underbelly of the internet where anonymity reigns supreme. It's like that creepy abandoned warehouse at the edge of town. The dark web isn't inherently bad, it's just not indexed by standard search engines used by journalists, activists, and whistleblowers, but also a haven for cybercriminals. Think of the internet like an iceberg. The surface web is what you see every day. Below is the deep web, and in the darkest depths the dark web. To access it you need Tor. Tor encrypts your traffic, making it hard to trace. This anonymity appeals to criminals. So, what kind of shady stuff are people buying and selling on the dark web? Well, pretty much anything you can imagine and probably a few things you can't. Stolen credit card information, login credentials for bank accounts and online services, hacked social media accounts, it's all up for grabs. Cybercriminals also use the dark web to buy and sell hacking tools, malware, and even zero-day exploits, vulnerabilities in software that haven't been patched yet. They can even hire hackers for hire to carry out targeted attacks on their behalf. And then there's the truly disturbing stuff: illegal drugs, weapons, counterfeit documents, and even child exploitation material. It's a stark reminder that the dark web is not for the faint of heart, and that there are some seriously messed up people out there. Law enforcement agencies are aware of the dark web and actively work to track down criminals operating there. However, the anonymity provided by Tor and other privacy tools makes their job extremely difficult. It's like trying to catch a ghost. You know it's there, but actually getting your hands on it is another matter entirely. How do transactions happen on the dark web? You can't use your Visa card to buy stolen data. That's where cryptocurrency comes in. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are hard to trace. Transactions are recorded on a blockchain, but identities are encrypted. This makes it perfect for cybercriminals. Law enforcement is trying to track these transactions, but the decentralized nature makes it challenging. Protect yourself by being aware and cautious online. The dark web is a marketplace for illegal activities. Be cautious about the information you share online. Use strong passwords and two-factor authentication. Keep your software up to date. Be wary of suspicious emails and links. Let's talk Wi-Fi security. We've all been there: coffee shop, airport lounge, hotel, desperately searching for Wi-Fi. We connect without a second thought, diving into emails, social media, and online banking. But public Wi-Fi is like a public restroom. You never know who's been there. Enter the man-in-the-middle attack. Hackers intercept your data, reading your private messages and bank details. They exploit public Wi-Fi, eavesdropping on everything, and you're none the wiser. So what can you do? Stay tuned for tips on protecting yourself. Now let's talk about evil twin attacks. Imagine this, you're at your favorite coffee shop, phone desperately clinging to that last bar of battery life. You scan for Wi-Fi and see the familiar name of the shop's network. But you've just connected to an evil twin, a fake Wi-Fi hotspot set up by a hacker. Once connected, the hacker can monitor your every move, stealing your data. Stay tuned as we delve into the world of VPNs, your secret weapon against these Wi-Fi wolves in sheep's clothing. How do you protect yourself on public Wi-Fi? Avoid public Wi-Fi for anything sensitive. Use a VPN, a virtual private network. It's like a digital invisibility cloak. Lock your digital doors with a VPN and always enable your firewall. Alright guys, we've talked about the classic ways hackers get you, but hold on to your hats because things are about to get seriously futuristic. We're diving into the world of AI-powered hacking, where the bad guys are using artificial intelligence to up their game. Now, AI has been a buzzword for a while, and for good reason. It's got the potential to revolutionize a ton of industries, but like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or, well, not so good. Hackers, unfortunately, are starting to see the potential of AI, and they're not afraid to use it. Think about it. AI can process massive amounts of data, learn patterns, and make decisions way faster than any human ever could. So, naturally, hackers are starting to use AI to automate their attacks, making them even more sophisticated and harder to detect. It's like giving a hacker army a super intelligence boost. We're talking about AI crafting super convincing phishing emails, bypassing security systems with machine learning algorithms, and even creating those deepfake videos that are almost impossible to distinguish from the real deal. It's some seriously next-level stuff, and it's a little unnerving to think about, to be honest. Let's talk about deepfakes for a second because this is some seriously scary stuff. Imagine getting a video call from your boss or maybe even a family member asking you to transfer some money or share sensitive information. You'd probably do it, right? I mean, you're looking right at them, hearing their voice. Well, that's the terrifying thing about deepfakes. Hackers can use AI to create incredibly realistic videos of people saying and doing things they never actually did. They can steal your face, your voice, your entire online identity, and use it to manipulate others. Think about the implications for businesses, political campaigns, even personal relationships. It's a recipe for disaster, and it's a stark reminder that we can't always believe what we see online anymore. It's like something straight out of a Black Mirror episode, only it's real life and it's happening right now. And the worst part? As AI technology advances, deepfakes are only going to get more convincing and harder to detect. It's a constant cat-and-mouse game, and right now, the hackers are gaining the upper hand. We need to be more vigilant than ever before, and approach everything we see online with a healthy dose of skepticism. It's not all doom and gloom. Just like hackers use AI for evil, the good guys use it for good. It's a digital arms race, with both sides trying to outsmart each other. AI helps develop sophisticated security software to detect and block attacks. It's like having an army of digital detectives working around the clock. AI can also identify vulnerabilities before hackers exploit them. It's a powerful tool in the fight against cybercrime. Alright guys, let's get real for a second. Strong, unique passwords are your first line of defense. Think long and complex. 12 characters, mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. Use a password manager to keep track of them. It's like having a digital bodyguard for all your accounts. Okay, so you've got your password game on lock. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of cybersecurity software updates. I know, those update notifications can be annoying, especially when you're in the middle of something important. But trust me, ignoring them is like playing Russian roulette with your data. Software updates often include important security patches that fix vulnerabilities hackers can exploit. Think of it like this. Hackers are constantly finding new ways to break into systems, and software developers are constantly working to patch those holes. When you ignore an update, you're basically leaving your digital doors wide open for those hackers. And it's not just your operating system that needs regular updates. Make sure your web browsers, apps, and even your smart devices are all up to date. Many devices have an option for automatic updates, which I highly recommend enabling. It's one less thing you have to worry about. Look, I get it, sometimes those update processes can take a while and it's tempting to just click "Remind me later." But next time you see that notification, just bite the bullet and get it over with. Your future self will thank you. Let's talk about staying safe online. Public Wi-Fi is risky. Use a VPN to protect your data. Watch out for phishing scams. Be skeptical of unsolicited messages. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Well, there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground in this video, from the psychology of hacking to the rise of AI-powered attacks. Cybersecurity is an ongoing battle. While hackers are always finding new ways to attack, staying informed is your best defense. Which hacking method surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Remember, knowledge is power, and by staying informed and taking the necessary precautions, you can significantly reduce your risk of becoming a victim of cybercrime. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tech and security content. Until next time, stay safe out there.